Danny, what do you make about this? We just simply don't have enough places to charge cars, and I think currently we've got 37,000. We need 300,000 in 4 or 5 years' time, which means a 288% increase. It's not going to happen, is it?
No, it's not going to happen, and they are asleep at the steering wheel, Andrew. They need to build 3,000 charging points per month if they're going to hit this target of petrol and diesel-free new cars by 2030. Do you know what? When Boris Johnson, Andrew, I don't know whether he announced this as some sort of bonus of Brexit, but the rest of the European Union have announced that the ban on petrol and diesel cars is 2035. I don't know if he was triumphant when he announced that we're going to bring it forward 5 years. It's unless something dramatic happens, then we are going to miss that target. In fact, one of the great stories over the festive period for petrol lovers like me and 95% of the audience listening was when all of these smug Tesla drivers were queuing up at a service station in Cumbria, some of whom were waiting for about 7 or 8 hours. It was a Daily Mail story. And the reason being is that there were so many million cars on the road, and now a proportion of them are electric, and people wanted to get home back to London and to Cornwall. And you had people on the other side of the forecourt spending 5 minutes putting petrol in. Honestly, Andrew, I wish that we could follow the European Union, because it ain't going to happen.
Danny, I mean, I think, you know, I don't have a car. I've not owned a car for over 30-odd years. Not because I'm a green eco fanatic. It's just because what's the point of having a car in London? The roads are clogged. But it can take, on average, 8 hours to charge a car, I'm told.
This is the crazy thing about it. I mean, if you've got a supercharger, a Tesla supercharger, it can take 40, 45 minutes. And that's why there was a queue of about 7 or 8 hours, because there were about 20 Teslas trying to charge. If you have a driveway, if you're fortunate enough to have a driveway, and good luck with finding one of them in the capital, Andrew. If you're fortunate enough to have a driveway, then you can charge it overnight on a trickle charge. But it takes a long time. A supercharger, it takes, around about an hour. But if you've got a trickle charger at home, it takes a long time. And there was also a story where it's actually cheaper to drive a petrol Vauxhall Corsa per mile than an electric Vauxhall Corsa. It's crazy.
It's all bad. Danny, let me ask you, how much does it cost to buy a new electric car on average? I'm told a king's ransom.
Well, that's a great question, because overnight, when Tesla reduced the price of brand new models overnight by £5,000 or £6,000, the prices have plummeted. A typical cheap run around town, a Renault Zoe, which is an electric car with about a 100-mile range, I think they're about £30,000. But if you want to travel anywhere to see people, as families and friends do, you've got to be spending 40, 50, 60 grand. And by the way, you can't give them away at the auctions. Car dealers aren't touching used electric cars, because the message is out there, Andrew. It's a disaster waiting to happen.